Section 1 is unlike any studio I've ever taken before.
I mean, it was unlike any other class that I've ever had, and it turned out fantastic.
Section 1 is insanely chaotic.
My experience with Section 1 has been an interesting mix of chaos and really good collaboration.
I'm John Dixon, Assistant Professor of Practice and Industrial Design.
Professor Stephen Slaughter, Architecture. What is Section 001?
Section 1 is a course that we've taught 3 years now about working together as a team to create a collective body of work kind of centered towards showing at ICFF.
In general, Section 001 has always been a collaboration between the two disciplines, architecture and industrial design, to create a line of furniture and house goods around the idea of making.
So the past 2 years we had worked with furniture companies for the most part, some vendors to help us make things, but more benchmarking against furniture companies.
This year, different from last year, we wanted to partner with manufacturers and fabricators.
So companies that primarily work business to business, kind of making things for other people, mostly kind of for manufacturing sectors.
And let their processes and their materials sort of lead the design process. So the students were actually creating something straight from a specific mode of manufacturing, using a specific type of material and leveraging both to make something unique.
It's honestly, some of the stuff is weirder even than I thought it would be, which is good. When I was in Section 1, it ended up a little even, everything was matchy and clean and simple, and, I'm excited that a lot of the things really seem to go off the rails in like a really good way,
I think this is by far the best class that I've taken in DAP, period.
If I had to describe Section 001, I would say controlled anarchy. I think that it was a really good opportunity to collaborate with people with a variety of different ideas and have to kind of work out how we were going to converge into one cohesive section.
Section 1 involved a lot of group consensus, but at the end it was really cool seeing how currently everything's coming together to be very cohesive. And I think overall it was a successful collaborative project.
It's a hot mess that works.
Yeah, just kind of like a really, really collaborative mess. We mess it up together and then figure out how to restructure it from there. It's just so much innovation in one room, and it's like 9 different processes and materials. It's very difficult to like come together with something cohesive, and then you have it and it just works.
I liked that for kind of the first time in DAP, we're doing something a little less like standardized. Like the process was pretty free flowing and changed a lot as the semester went on. And it wasn't really like a 1, 2, 3, this is what you have to do, these are the objectives you need to meet.
My experience with Section 1 has been a lot of fun, but also really stressful. I really loved seeing it all come together and seeing all the different groups do like their own take their processes and make unique products out of it. I think it works really well, and I think it really lets us have a chance to do something that we wouldn't have a chance to do in a normal studio class.
I think the big draw for me to choose Section 1 for the semester was to be able to work with other students, to kind of be able to collaborate with other designers and kind of like hear their ideas and try and find a good balance with all of the different opinions.
I think the big challenge was balancing everyone's different aesthetic tastes with the different materiality that we all like worked with, like metal to wood to 3D printing, to make a unified booth.
Mm-hmm.
With really strong personalities in our class.
There have been definitely some times where I've seen people stepping up and getting things done in a way that's like really unique to this studio, because it's not just like do your project and move on for the semester and put it in your portfolio. It's much more complicated than that, and it's been really interesting to see how we pull that together, and like when John and Stephen get themselves involved, and then when they totally disclude themselves from what's going on, and then how we kind of handle that as a group has been a big learning experience.
A number of students were kind of fearful that the stuff didn't match, and I think it kind of matches in a way that's kind of more elevated than if it just looked the same or looked like it belonged together. So I couldn't be more excited. I'm excited to see how people react, but I actually am more into the outcomes from this year than the previous two, as far as it kind of gelling with what I'm about as both a designer and an educator.